What is going on? Welcome back to Trading Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about Faraday Future. I want to go over some of the current data points and what it's actually signaling. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, Faraday did go down slightly, 6.6%. Over the last day and a half, it has been really flirting with that $7 range. Last time it did kind of flirt with that, it did have that quick spike to around 11. So we'll just have to wait and see if that does happen. When that did also happen, it had that quick injection of capital. So I'm going to talk on what institutions have been doing and everything. Today was kind of low volume, so 8.5 million shares being traded, 10.5 is the average. So these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. There was one today, 315, a couple yesterday. So 180, 217, and 244. This 217 one, in fact, was what caused it to go higher. So again, that's kind of a good thing. Aside from that, though, you do see on the 23rd the massive amount of transactions, even on the dark pool. So dark pool has been very much popular over the last several trading days. And so often enough, this is linked to shorting and just larger entities as well. So a lot of transactions even on the 23rd. And so this is where you have them all the way up to around $11. And so yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what does happen. The only, I guess, downside of Faraday is just there's so many things in limbo. And as of right now, a lot of what Faraday is about is linked to speculation. And institutions largely don't invest in speculation, right? They do to a certain regard, but as of late, there hasn't been all that much in news from the company itself, no SEC filings. So right now, the last news that did come out was this right here. So on August the 19th, they put out how they're going to be announcing their bridge strategy and that kind of lower price model. So I think that's kind of a good thing. But still, they do have their motives behind it on why they're doing it 1 month out or announcing it 1 month out. So it's clearly just to entice investors to hold on a little bit longer, that there is a bigger plan. In my opinion, this is also one negative of Faraday, is that they're focusing so much on the bridge strategy rather than partnerships. So that UAE deal is absolutely key, because if Faraday wants to pivot as what they stated they want to do in their last video, that's going to cost a lot of money. And yes, they just have that fresh new reverse stock split, raising of the authorized shares or changing. It's going to be very, very damaging to current investors if they don't have some sort of financing. So I'd rather see them put out some UAE news in some regard rather than this. But still, I think the fact that Faraday has been silent is not necessarily the best sign. So there's a lot of things stuck in limbo, like I said, one of which is even compliance. So today is day number 7 that it did successfully close above $1. So we'll just have to wait and see for next week on if they get the rubber stamp from the NASDAQ or if there is silence. So if there is silence, then most likely Faraday and NASDAQ are going back and forth behind the scenes on various things. So we'll just have to wait and see if we're going to get a Form 25 or a compliance letter. But still, no matter what, even if I've stated that I feel like it's going to be longer than 10, between the 15 to 20 consecutive trading days, it can't be proven until it actually happens. So that's one of those negative sides of Faraday, even based on my last video, a lot of which cannot be proven. This is why I even stated and started my last video off with a lot of which of Faraday is up to your own interpretation. I do feel, based on just looking at this, having 153,000 shares traded in one day, 77 million right here the next, and for the outstanding share count to be essentially like 12 million, that doesn't jive. That does not make sense that this one day right here, the actual like whole float in its entirety was traded tenfold. That doesn't make sense at all. And if anyone out there is saying otherwise and that dilution is not occurring, you guys are smoking something absolutely crazy. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. But like I said, none of that can be proven about the naked shorting side until FTDs do come out. So that should be a week and a half. And we won't know there is any dilution occurring until they actually do voluntarily disclose that through a SEC document. So it's kind of just a crappy scenario. Just absolutely every aspect of Faraday is in limbo. But A couple of things I do want to talk on. So new short interest is 15.09% of the free float, works out to be 1.85 million shares. Shorts did return around 36,000 shares. Cost to borrow average is having a little bit of a bump since my last video. So it is sitting at 27.57, and that is derived based off of just supply and demand. Utilization 98.12, short score is 74.86. A couple of things I want to go over based on this. One is going to be this right here. So 2 times per month, the NASDAQ does disclose the true amount of shares being shorted. It's always delayed information, but the last report that did come out was yesterday for August the 15th. So it does state that on August the 15th, there was 1.4 million shares being shorted, and that works out to be 12.8% of the free float. One thing that you need to realize is that after this date, the reverse stock split did kick in. And so this one report is skewed. You really need to factor in the reverse stock split because Faraday did one, as you can kind of see right here, on August the 19th, 2024, a 1-for-40. So it's kind of a skewed thing, but what 𝗪𝗧𝗏 and Fintel and a lot of other platforms do is they take this information and kind of calculate and estimate it up to today's date, and that's why you get that 15% short interest. So it does show 15.09%. Let me know your thoughts on that. The new chains basically have been out for 1 week, give or take. And you do see a kind of an increase in popularity. A lot of good money getting in, 416,000 in calls, 495,000 in puts. So if you guys don't know options, highly recommend you guys researching them because it can be very beneficial, both bullish or bearish, depending on your sentiment. But one thing that I just wanted to bring up, so this is a current open interest for the calls. It does give you a good overview of where people see it going. So it looks like for just this week and even encumbering next week, it's kind of ranging between that roughly $4.50 and $8 range. So that's kind of where options is signaling. Looking at the specific calls for today though, you do see more optimism associated to the roughly in excess of $8, and the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 250, most likely by next week, if not by the week of September the 20th. But one positive thing that I just wanted to share with you is that market makers do feel that there might be a little bit of upside with Faraday, because initially when they first released the chains, it was only up to $7. Then they did do a second update to, I believe it was $16 or $17, and now it is the highest, it's $22. So highly recommend you guys kind of learning options if you guys haven't learned that yet. And so yeah, I see that as relatively optimistic, but as of right now with it at 7.08 where it did close, it is trading between this S3 and this S2. So $6.39 is going to be the strong support. 10.08 is going to be that next strong resistance / target. So let me know your thoughts. That's basically what the data is saying as of right now. What is your viewpoint on everything to do with Faraday? Do you think, are you bullish? Are you bearish? What is your plan with the UAE? Do you think something is going to come out associated to that? And do you think that Faraday is still a squeeze play? Or do you think that there's just a lot of dilution and that is really skewing the 𝗪𝗧𝗏 numbers? Because like I've mentioned in the past, there could be dilution happening, just us as investors are not privy to that, so that does skew a lot of the ratios behind the scenes. So what's your thoughts on Faraday? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account for $100 added. They give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Link to that is in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.